just as well, no, not everyone should. What's up, guys? Twisted Toast. I think we're episode 9 or 10 now. I don't know. I was so excited after this weekend. I had so much that was putting in notes, and then you were away in Miami, and I jokingly accused you of going to someone's event, which you. Oh, I like the fire, dude.
It's fucking cold here.
I gotta find out though first, dude. So you got sent a dick pic by a lead?
But yeah,
Okay,
super weird.
let's dive in, because we were already ahead of everyone, and then there's some big news this week coming out of Illinois, which everyone has jumped on, and we'll talk about that. But leading into that, what the fuck happened?
I've been doing some Facebook advertising lead generation type stuff. And yeah, this person, a couple of things happened actually. So I don't know if it's the same person now that I think about it. I had two things that were really weird happen. Yeah, I got some like 5 dick pics from some guy on my work phone via text message. Full on, full on, just whoa. Shocker moment. It was bad. But then guess what else happened? So same story. I had this one guy do the lead generation form. I text him, I give him a call. He had messaged me back and he's like, "Oh, you don't want to, deal with my issues." And I'm like, "Hey, you filled out the form for a reason, dude. Like maybe I can help you."
What did he put on the form?
Well, it's not about what he put on the form.
Hmm.
It's what he said then next. He's like, "I wanted to take care of something while we were on the phone."
Okay,
What do you think he wanted to take care of?
was he jerking off
He wanted to.
on the
He said it
phone?
while we were on the call. Well, we weren't on the call. This was all via text message, but he had basically said, "Oh, you're so beautiful, and I hadn't been with a woman for 9 years."
Well, obviously, because that game ain't
And
working.
and I was like, and I just stopped. I was like, "Oh my God." And he just kept on going. And then he said, I mean, I could guess, I could go to my phone and tell you the exact conversation, but he just was, and then he says masturbating. And then I'm like, "Oh my God." And I don't even know what to do. And so I actually had to go to Perplexity to be like, how do I respond to this? Because I just wanted to be like, at first I want to be like, "Well, thank you for sharing this information with me." And I'm like, I don't want to thank
I
this
know.
guy for anything. Like, at least for telling me before we get on the phone. I wanted to be like, "Thank you for saving me from this." But I was like, I can't say that. So, I just texted back, was like, "This is not cool. No consultation. No further contact is welcome." And then he's like, "Well," he said, he messaged me a few more times after that too, and he's like, "Oh, don't be mad, don't be mad." He's like, "You masturbate too," and I'm like, I just couldn't believe it, dude. You just to put yourself out there and to have that happen, it's like, whoa, being a chick, and then there's just so many predators. So of course I made a police report. Not that I like expect them to catch this guy, even though I had a name and a phone number, but when the police came, they said that they couldn't pull any name up with the number or pull this person up on Facebook. So it's probably just a fake name and stuff like that. But it's kind of scary when you think about it, because I work alone. I don't have staff, and it
Well,
freaks
you
me
got
out a little bit.
cameras. You got
I do have
cameras.
cameras and I have a security alarm and I keep my doors locked. I have an automated lock and things like that, but still, it's kind
I
of
know.
scary.
One, on behalf of all men, I'm sorry, but those aren't real men. I've never understood this, with the advent of technology. Look, when we talk about this behind the scenes, and this is kind of the goal of this podcast, to be the like at the bar after the seminar conversations. And that's kind of one of my goals, and to get people on here to talk about real stuff. And look, chiropractors by nature are a little bit lean towards perversion in a good way. I mean, they're sexually I mean, they like that. They like to fuck, and a
Who
lot of them
doesn't?
like to fuck their wife, and men, and the women are open. I think there's some there's a good amount of swingers in this profession. That's a topic for another maybe. But look, at the end of time, it's consensual. It's there's a lot of after hours at the seminars. We talked about this before. I just don't understand. And I remember when I met my wife, and I actually, my first text message to her was, here's a deck. I said, "Here's a deck pic," and I sent a picture of a deck, because we had talked on the dating app. Like, she had to right away go, "You're not gonna like this," and this is common when you're on the dating apps with normal women. They're like, "You're not gonna send me a dick," and I'm like, who does that? They're like, Everyone," and I'm like, why are men?
Dicks aren't even attractive.
I have a pretty penis, so I'm not gonna say that, but it's like my wife hates when I say that because I just use that to get to her. But they aren't, honestly. I mean, from those angles, I mean, any angle you can get. I mean, you
And
have
when
to
they're not
have.
hard, they're all shriveled, and everybody's got a small penis. Not everybody, women
No,
obviously, but
you need to have a professional grade. I mean, there's a reason why angles in porn are shot certain ways to make things, like. So, but I don't get. I just don't get. First of all, I'm a vampire and I'm inbound only to the point where I drive my wife crazy because she's like, "Are you going to initiate?" I'm like, "No," because I'm of the nature of like you have to initiate to like get the voodoo and the mood and the go. Like you have to be bought in, and it's
but
psychological.
women want men to initiate.
I
It's
know
the
they do, but
hardwire in
but
us.
they don't, and if they don't, they really don't.
They do.
Yeah,
Women totally want men to initiate.
you say you do, and then when you do, then you're
Well,
like
but we still reserve the right to deny.
So that's why I'm inbound only. I've learned my lessons over the year.
You're never
Plus,
gonna get laid.
plus, no, but I do. I'm a vampire. So then you build up and I play my wife all the time. I'm like I tease, but how? Why do you? I don't know because I don't have an answer because I've tried to figure this out. I mean, why send a dick pic? I don't get it. But that's just
Man,
not
I don't get
me.
it either.
But I do
Unless
get.
maybe it was a wrong number.
I do think I think COVID really crafted and created. I mean, the world became more perverted digitally. We were talking with, I was at CloseForChiro this weekend, and Austin Cohen was there, and we were talking with a couple teams from all over. And I was like, "Hey, Austin, you're up past 9:30 because don't you have to be in bed by like 8:30 and be up running at 5?" And he doesn't drink; he drinks non-alcoholic beer and stuff like that. And the conversations turn to, as they do at chiropractic post seminars, into debauchery and stuff like that, as we always do. And I was telling Austin, I said, you should really try edging. And he goes, "What's edging?" And then the girl next to me was going, "Well, edging, it's really great. You delay your ejaculations and you just keep going and keep going and keep going until you keep stopping and keep going and keep stopping." And he's like, "Why the hell would I want to do that?" I go, "Because the orgasm is more intense." I go, "I'm all about male empowerment for the orgasm, as I've clearly said on this show. Like, I'm an advocate for anal beads and popping anal beads
Oh
out of your
my
ass
God.
when you're coming." I don't think men get to talk about it's always about women's orgasms, like I said. So I said, "Austin, take care of yourself, man. Like, delay that orgasm." But I think masturbation and porn grew dramatically during COVID because that's, people got stuck and it became the thing I think that was the dating era. Like, it was like phone sex was like huge during COVID. So I don't know if that's translated over into now. I mean, to reach out to a professional and do this and have this multiple times, this is sad. And if men think that's what I don't know. I don't know why a man would think like, "Hey, look at my dick pic," and you're gonna just drop down in total
Well,
wetness.
and even as a doctor, I mean, it's like, why would you reach out to a doctor?
Is there
Well, first
anything
of
that you
all,
guys have in the profession to talk, like education?
yeah, well, we have ethics classes.
No, okay, so they talk about this shit, like how to protect yourself.
Well, yeah, when you have law class, mostly they say, don't sleep with your patients, don't hug your patients, things
Well,
like
if
that.
my dad didn't sleep with his patient, I wouldn't be here. So
Well, and they have laws about that, like you have to have that cooling off period of like
yeah.
6 months. And I guess every state is probably different as far as the laws are concerned with that, because there's plenty of chiropractors out there and other doctors, I'm sure, that have, married their patient because that's how they met them. But there's always a cool down period. And just as much as like people should do that, another wise thing to think about, since we're talking about sex and being with people, if you're not married to somebody, you should not, and like say you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, even if they're your fiance, they should not be a patient in your office.
Ooh, I love this.
Because I heard a story one time of somebody, like, this guy was engaged to this girl. They broke up and it was ugly. And guess what she did?
Oh no.
Board complaint. He lost his license. So if you have somebody that you are sleeping with, they better not be a patient in your office unless you are legally married to that person. But
Well, I mean, we're just gonna keep going down and get worse today because out of Close for Cairo out of this weekend, it started making its waves in the group room and 50 plus docs and people coming up and I'm just Dr. David Hansen up in Chicago was
God,
arrested, and a
I
lot of
know.
people
Listen,
know this
there's,
guy. So David,
I don't know him, but
I've worked with him, and so has like we were all like a lot of us in that room were like, "Hey, this is the second person in the last couple of months that I've worked with before that has gotten and it's obviously like there's two elements to this. I mean, there's so many allegations. I want to, follow the rules of what I think should be allocated to anyone, because as someone who's gone through a felony crime in his life and didn't do what was said that was done, I believe in due process and stuff like that. There's a lot of allegations, 180 plus or whatever. There's usually, where there's smoke, there's fire. But I do want to preface this that, he was arrested for secretly recording more than 180 patients,
including, I think, children, and distributing
that's where it
child
crosses.
pornography.
Then there's the child pornography thing, which again we brought up weeks ago, and I brought up now. A bunch of female chiropractors all went out because there's been two bigger and when I say bigger names, I mean people know clout. There's like, oh, I know that person from it. Usually, like what I was talking about in the elephant in the room in the Google News search results are these podunk places with podunk chiropractors that no one fucking knows. They're broke ass chiropractors I talk about. These are now coming out. These are some ballers. These are people with multiple clinics and part of big groups and coaching groups. And I've worked with them, like I said, and the child pornography thing, that just makes your stomach curl and makes you just go, and you look at it and you go, that he doesn't look like that. When you think of people, there's a look. They usually
he
look
doesn't
like
have
people.
a mustache.
He's a good looking dude up in
He doesn't look like he came from the
yeah. And that's who it is now. I mean, it's the people you wouldn't expect. I'm happy that people, I wrote about it. We talked about it on I think it was our first podcast, that this is a thing in chiro, and now it's getting worse because it's not just making like local news. And this goes back to, again, I think there's always going to be attack on this profession. Are we making it easy for them? Because this was picked up by Chicago, I'm sorry, on CBS News. I mean, it's all over major news
very
publications.
bad media for chiropractic.
Yeah. And so now we're building this story that first of all, I mean, this is the thing with, I mean, you have red light. They have to take their clothes off. I don't even know.
No, on my red light, I just have I mean, most women, including men, actually, really would just want their stomach done. You don't need somebody to be fully unclothed to do that. I also don't have a full body red light either. Yeah. It's a 24 by 12 panel. So I just have to have their stomach exposed. I had one woman that wanted to do her thighs and lower buttocks, but you always just appropriately drape the patient. I mean, you should be only exposing the area that needs to be exposed. And if they have to be,
I never understood the thing of undressing in chiropractic. I mean, it's just not what I've knew.
Dude, I mean, I've heard some crazy stories. My husband was on the disciplinary board in Ontario, and he told me so many crazy stories about people. Some of them are straight up just innocent, like one young chiropractor. And these are things to talk, this is why you always have to communicate with your patients. One young doc was palpating a woman's ribs from behind without telling her like what he's doing, right? So of course he gets a complaint about it, and I think they slapped his hand. I don't remember what they did to him. He didn't lose his license, but he's just like, they said to him, did you ever think about how that would feel for a woman? And like, he said he saw the light bulb go off in this guy's head, to be like, oh yeah, but then there's also other ones. Like he told me this one story, and this guy's wife was in on it too. This about nipple therapy.
What?
It was a doctor in Canada that would
I need to hear more about this because I like so
he would stimulate the women's nipples until they had orgasm for their headaches. And sure, it helped with their headaches, but his wife was even on board with it, be like, oh, it helps so many people.
Okay, well, Jesus Christ.
Like, I don't even get it. Like, how could you be so dumb? Like, having the title doesn't give you that level of authority, like at all.
We got to do better. I mean, I think we got to protect better. I mean, we
lost you, Tristan. I see your keyboard.
It's
a great angle.
We gotta do better. We got to do better. We can't have every news index being about a chiropractor sexually doing stuff and weirdly doing shit. So we got to pump that up. I'm excited that we're doing that with chiropractic results. I just got the phone with Gabrielle Quill. We loaded up her results. We've been loading and going for 3 weeks, and she got 5 new patients over the weekend directly from chiropractic results. We're indexing the AI. So I've been staying up late at night. I'm super fucking exhausted. So I was super excited to do our podcast. And then I was like, I got tired today, but I'm revved up now because we're talking about sex, of course. And I do want to say this again, all the males listening out there. I know you're going to be like, dude, what is Twisty gay? Not gay at all. I just advocate for fucking pleasure, man. And I love nipple. I'm like, and I think
You wanna know
culturally,
something interesting about the nipples?
what?
That during the differentiation process as we're being created in the womb, it's actually the same cells as, like, the corpus callosum of the penis and the clitoris of migration from the nipples, so that's why you have that close association.
I mean,
It's the same cellular base.
it can be fucking amazing. And I just I advocate for males out there to start exploring their own, just pleasure, because like it's just fucking we don't talk about that. And it's like that's who I am and I like it. I dig it. But I wouldn't have a chiropractor work on me and do it for a case. Oh, man. All
And it was
right,
so
so
creeper style too, because he's doing it, like, hidden camera, right? Like, that's, like, next level, dude.
it is, dude. It's just I'm happy that other chiropractors, especially female chiropractors, are speaking out about stuff like this. That's what I was kind of trying to push. That I was, I'm patting myself on the shoulder right now and flexing and going. I think I was the first person ever. The first indexing of any blog article about this was me. So be weird, but don't be fucking creepy and ruin people's lives and be ultimately like, I do think this is why, I think prostitution should be legal. And I think that there's a lot of people with trauma and I mean, this is what leads to this kind of shit happening. And I advocate for legalized prostitution because I think we are human beings it's a twilight zone on steroids up here. But there's people that know, like normal people like us, that know it's just a thought. It isn't real. And you don't have to jump on it. Just like you're in the car and you're having internal road rage, you're not going to drive off the side of the road and try to kill someone, but there's people that actually do that. Right. So, I think it's hard for us to understand the crossover, because it's not hard for us to understand the weird fucking thoughts that are in your brain, just like the weird thoughts that are in, like, the failure stuff, the self-talk, the doubt talk, the imposter syndrome shit that we all like. These are just
It's
thoughts.
acting on it.
Thoughts aren't real. Yeah, just like you shouldn't act. That's why, you should just manifest and say I'm fucking awesome and I'm great and just act on that. And I'm not a weirdo and creepo. And, we were talking again at CloseForChiro. Again, I was taking pictures of people and I was doing my Keanu Reeves, where I don't put my arms on, like when you take a picture, Keanu Reeves doesn't put his hands on women because he doesn't. And I've done that for years. One, because I did one where I didn't one time and my wife saw it on social media and she goes, "Hey, what's up with that?" Now, one of the people said, "Well, are you trustable?" Oh no, it was Kim on one of our things. We talked about this on our podcast too. Are you trustable? I think absolutely. But I think you have to extend trust to your people in your community. And a part of that is being a normal human being and not doing weird shit. It's just sad, but I want to hear about Miami now. You got to take a break and get some sun and enjoy the beach.
It was nice. It was so nice. It's always good. I don't know what it is about looking at the ocean, but I could freaking do
Hmm.
it forever. Every time we go to, I'm always like, let's buy a place by the ocean.
Yeah. Well, do you guys plan? So this is a big thing for me with clients the last couple weeks, because we're hitting that stage of it's post summer and it's obviously fall and it's getting cold and we're in the mundacity stage of business building, practice growth, doing the things that we just do. And I hear from a lot of my people, I need to be doing. I wish I just had another vacation. I'm like, then plan it. Do you guys
Exactly.
plan this out long in advance, or was this an
No, this one
impulse?
was spontaneous.
Okay.
My husband hasn't, he's been kind of under the weather for a little while actually. And I was finally like, you know what, dude, let's just go to the beach.
So you
Like,
need
get
that.
some sun. We decided on Wednesday and left on Friday. But yeah, we do plan so that we can get out. And usually it's several weeks, like 6 weeks or so in advance, if at a minimum. We went to Alaska this year. That was like a whole year in the planning, actually, because it was a cruise. And you absolutely have to take breaks because you just get burned out.
There's always themes, and the theme lately has been everyone's tired, and that's okay. I said to a couple of people, I think they felt guilty telling me that when I would get on calls. I'm like, "How are you doing?" And I'm like, "No, really, how are you doing?" Because you don't sound the same. I'm tired. Like, that's okay. It's normal. You're a human being. What are we doing to align with your vision and mission to keep you from getting from just tired and exhaustion, which is normal, to then the burnout stage, which is I'm not happy and I'm not. And that's so important. That's why it's constantly a message. It's constantly something we talk about on here because it scares me. I think, we're talking about people doing crazy shit. I will say this. I make bad decisions. I don't fucking do weird fucking creepy shit and record women on and I work at home, so I would record my wife. Although my wife has recently asked me because she heard a story about when I was younger and I said, well, I was young and I was dumb and I was, stupid and I got, in an argument with one of my high school sweetheart and something happened and she's like, well, you never did that to me. And I'm like, no, it wasn't good. I would never do that to you. And she's like, I kind of want you to do that. See, women will say, I want you to be aggressive. And when okay, if I do that, and just so you guys know, it was a stupid high school sweetheart thing. And, I chased after her and did the common, male thing, like, don't leave me. And I locked her I locked her in a bathroom. Stupid. And like, I didn't want to
Oh
let
my
her.
God.
It's like, you can't leave me. The things that humans do behind the scenes that we don't talk about. So, I mean, I've done things and that can be considered, whoa, it's not who I am now, not who I have been in a long time. It was ran on emotion. And that's what I'm getting to the burnout thing.
And you were a child. Your brain wasn't fully developed.
I mean, I don't justify, but I did the wrong, you know, I was also like a whiny little bitch. And if I could go back in time, I would have been like, dude, so many more fish in the sea. This is not going to be the only thing in your life. We don't talk about this with young boy. I mean, when it's so funny because girls, as they turn into, I mean, they just move on in breakups.
That's not true. That's
Come on,
so not
it's
true.
okay. Tell me what the data that I have and what I've seen is women just move the fuck on, and young men have their hearts broken, and then they either turn into serial killers or they turn into Michael
Oh my
Jordans.
God. That's hilarious.
What I grew up and what I saw was just, dude, being a dude. Dudes don't talk about this, man. Having your heart broken,
Well, girls' hearts are broken too. I mean, like, I
Well,
think that
they get their hearts
maybe
fucking
it
crushed
seems like
on.
it's not because they're just like, whatever, I'm going to show him. I'm going to go out with this guy. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make him so jealous. He's going to hate that he ever blah, blah,
That's the whole
blah.
thing with a break. A cat used to joke about that. Like, she's like, if when we were starting our date, she's like, well, I broke up with you, I would lose weight. And like, oh, why not now? And if I broke up with you, I'm going to go on a bender for 3 months and destroy myself and possibly go down, roads that no one likes to walk. But just bring it back to burn. I want to get your answer on. So women do. Okay. We'll meet in the middle, but
Tristan,
burn.
let me break it down. Women have feelings too.
Do they? Just joking. I know you do. But burnout is so fucking bad. It makes you make decisions like partnering up with someone for 5 years and selling your company because, it wasn't just exhaustion with me at Chiro Sushi. It was burned out. And when you're burned out, I believe you make bad decisions. And this is why it's so important that you guys schedule your vacations and schedule your family time. I really do advocate that as being a professional, I grew up with this and I used to fight it all the time. I mean, my dad scheduled his poops. He was a Parker disciple. They were time managed. I'm sure your husband, dude, is your husband still a time management junkie? Yeah. Okay. Like, it's insane how bad they were taught back in those days, but they were taught that for a reason, for the most production and efficiency. And I remember my dad scheduled gossip time in the office because he knew that people wanted to be able to have culture and they needed to let off steam, and he would schedule that. Everything. He had his big ass fucking calendar book, yellow highlighters, and everything was scheduled. And I rebelled against it. And I rebelled against it and fought it for years until the last 3 years. And I've made my changes, and it's definitely impacted and grown me personally and professionally. And it's shown its ROI. And now on that note, because I told Austin I would talk about him today. One of the big things that came out of this weekend at CloseForChiro, not just the fact that CloseForChiro was amazing, as it always is. And I was not supposed to actually talk, and I was just going to show up because Josiah Fitzsimmons from Lucro was supposed to talk, and I took his spot. And I actually wanted to go up there and do some video content with Josiah and Austin. And if you guys remember that, Chappelle show, Chappelle skit when he brought out Wayne Brady, and all of a sudden Wayne Brady is like the bad guy. They're going to pick up drugs, and he's like, "I'm Wayne Brady, bitch." I wanted to do that stuff with Josiah and Austin, where we went out in town of Chicago, and everybody thinks Tristan's going to be the bad guy, and I was going to make it where Austin and Josiah were and flip the script. But Austin was there, and we're like the odd couple when we show up places together because we get along so well, but at the same time, Austin would never, I would never stay in a room with someone because I'm an adult. And well, I'm not broke, but like the other side of the things is, if Austin and I did room together, he'd kill me. We are totally different, opposite polars, but we work so well together. I do my thing, which is buying people drinks. And I was going to announce what that number is. And then I'm going to have to find out who the winner.
Did you get my joke? Did you see my number?
Was yours, were you the 69 one? I forget. Hold on.
It was 8675309.
5309. That's a good one. All right. While I'm talking, so I actually do allocate and have a budget, which is for buying drinks at events, seminars, on sites. And
so this is not including your consumption. This is what you get for others?
this is both.
You should have included that.
It is both. Yeah. No, I mean,
Okay.
I just assume people meant, they can interpret whatever they want on that side. But I put a budget together. It's kind of like a gifting. It's one of my gifting strategies is I'm the guy that buys people drinks. It's something that I love to do. I did stay on pace. I should not be going over budget because there's no more places I'm going, except I'm going to Coralville next week to go to Dr. Dillon's office to do my last on-site. I know I said it was my last on-site before, but it's my last one really for the year. So I like to buy drinks for people. It's my gifting strategy. I like to stay up late to be the last one there at the bar, last one there. And there's many other people that loved it. I mean, it's a great fucking time. Who's the most fucking, I would say she could even fucking beat me and being the last is Amanda. Dude, Amanda's a fucking bro. When we're talking about bro, like Amanda can fucking go. And
look who she was married to. That guy was a drinker.
Yeah, but they are. I mean, the most beautiful people. I mean, Amanda's the most giving person. Chiro Mogul's one of the most amazing programs.
Awesome. I love her.
But she, can go in the tank and go hard. And I have an affinity for that. I like being somewhat fucking just shit-faced and having these deep and what it is working with my coaches and people in other areas. They're like, you just crave intimacy, and that's one of your things is you like to talk and be with people and have it be not just bullshit talk, that you're talking real talk, and sometimes alcohol allows you to do that. It's a true term. So I have a budget. Let's see who wins this, because it was,
I'm intrigued because I was really curious.
so it ended up being $62,000 and $341. So $62,341 was my drinking budget, or what I hit. My budget was actually, I'm under it, is actually 60. So it wasn't done that for any other reason that it was allocated for my revenue last year. So was my drinking budget. We're doing this in ChatGPT to do it math fast. Who guessed? And we'll announce it here. And then I'll get people to come on this.
Are you just getting the people that guess the closest?
Yeah. And so of course my wife doesn't she's very well taken care of, and she just spent $1,200 on some facial filler shit today and $600 like she's just, and that's what I want because I'm an antiquated man. I wanted to fucking just be an old school dude that just fucking, this is what we do.
They can't win unless they watch the podcast.
That's what I'm gonna say. It was, wait, math is off. So this is the problem with chat. Who guessed the closest to 63K?
It's because you need to use a better platform than chat.
Oh, you're really pushing me. I know. So Austin, here's how he nurtures and builds relationships and builds connection and intimacy with people. Hey, on Saturday morning, if you guys want to join me at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. and go on a run the river, and every time we're together, I'm the guy who yells and shouts out, that fucking sounds awful. But I am going to take some leeway with, or take some note from that. One, he's not spending any fucking money, so I could allocate my $60,000 or $30,000 back into my business instead of pushing it into drinks.
I mean, that's somebody's salary. Let's just be honest.
I'm not going to run with people, but I am going to integrate and start doing things that are nurturing and relationship building, that are more health related and not just buying people's drinks. And that ties into what Austin was hoping.
Wow,
And
Tristan, I'm
he
so
goes,
proud of you.
so what are you going to commit? And then of course he's like, what are you going to commit to? And I'm like, I'm committing to being healthier, Austin. He goes, I'm just happy to hear that. So, and I, watching what this dude has built, he's built multiple clinics. I helped him this summer behind the scenes, advising and consulting on building his coaching, what we call his coaching program Empire, which he launched out within 1 day he sold out of, and he's helping people that I love and people I don't know build multi-site clinics, which is what his purpose and one of his big purposes and designs are do. So, the cool thing is, over the last couple of years, getting close with Dan, getting close with Austin, building that tribe. I've learned from Dan better leadership. Dan is probably one of the best CEOs I've ever been around, and no one talks about that. Dan Bay is an amazing CEO, and I went out for Christmas dinner with them, or holiday dinner after C4C. I was invited as a team member to come out, and we went to Alston's in Chicago, and I had to tap out. I said, there's two things I've learned this year about me. Rugby dudes, I tap out on, meaning basically it's Dr. Amanda and rugby dudes can go deeper in the tank than I can, and I quit. And interesting enough, I'm going to tie that back to someone, because there's a parallel. Do you know what the parallel is? Do you know what the parallel is between Amanda and rugby dudes? The greatest chiropractic coach living today still, Fred Schofield.
Okay.
So you've never been to a Schofield?
I know who Fred Schofield is.
I know you know Fred, but you've never been to a Schofield training?
No, because I don't think we have the same agreement on who the best chiropractic coach is.
Who do you think?
I don't actually have an opinion on that, but I remember seeing him once from stage and thought, I never want to go. This guy,
Okay.
No, he's so full of himself.
I'm sure that's what people think of me, but I think I'm like a mini Fred in a lot of ways. So the connection to that is Fred. I remember when we had the first Chiro Sushi Summit, and we asked Charlie Ward, the late great Charlie Ward, to come to speak. One thing that I learned from Charlie, and I respected, Charlie had no fucking fear of losing his people. He brought a dozen of his clients to the Chiro Sushi Summit. And that's what the OGs used to do with Parker. They weren't afraid of like, oh, this guy's going to take this guy, or this person's going to take this person. They're like, we're going to just, hey, come with me to this event. This is good for us. My dad, when he was probably 27, was at a Parker, and he saw Charlie Ward, and he just said to himself, who the fuck is this guy? I can't stand him. In Chiro Sushi Summit, my dad walked out of the room going, that is the most beautiful, loving, serving man. So it's sometimes where you're at, right? So Fred, when you heard him, probably where you were at was not the right place for you and him to connect. When I heard Fred the first time, I was like, this man is fucking fire. And that's Billy's coach. That's Billy DeMoss's coach.
Mm.
And a lot of the, so Fred's trainings are also very much trainings on your liver and your functioning of adaptability. I'll just say that. It's the only place I went to last year with Dr. Dillon, who I'm going to go up to Corville. I went to Tucson with him, and I called my wife the morning after the first day, and I said, I'm moving my flight up to this afternoon. I'm going to die if I stay. But I love and respect, and those are some of the richest, best, most spizzed up, and that's Fred stuff. They're the most aligned. I think I would say right now, if I had to give top chiropractic coaches, in the coaching space, and I want to hear yours because we're going to use this for content. I'm going to go Fred. I'm going to say Fred. I'm going to say right now working with Stu Bernson, who's now mentoring me, wowed at what we've accomplished just in 6 weeks. And then, third, I think underrated. And we're talking about her, I mean, what Amanda can do when Amanda's given the chance to go into a clinic and fucking change it around, that bitch is fucking, I mean, she is just fire. And knows how to make practices money and knows how to build a practice that you can walk away from and be away from. And then up and coming is Austin, and he's you know, but so who you've been around the block enough, and you see, who do you think are some of the top ones?
Oh, I definitely agree about Amanda. She is just so awesome on so many different levels. I mean, I love Brad Glowacki. There's a couple of people who aren't US here, and that would be Don and Brandy McDonald. I even tried
See,
to get them to come on.
I ain't gonna hold back in my shit, and this is the real shit. Fuck low. That fuck that.
I mean, everybody has their
Let me
opinions
send you
on.
a fucking lawyer letter bullshit and the shit that he fucking pulled with my boy. So I mean, history's history
Oh,
and shit.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's fuck you, fuck
I
low.
mean, that was a long time ago,
Well, fuck you, fuck him. I don't give a fuck. I roll with my homies till we fucking pour one
I
out for each
understand. I
other.
get
But
that. I get
okay,
that.
but I respect your opinion, and I'll say this: really great communicator. I mean, I know why people go to droves in him, but I'll say this: everyone who's ever gone through his program 5X's their care plans when they go back to CloseForChiro. But okay, Brandy McDonald, you
Well,
said,
he's not teaching people how to close.
yeah, he is.
Nothing I ever went to with him was teaching about how to close.
Element of closing. It was the C4C program.
Well, I think that when I saw him is when Everest was still when Barry had just passed, and he had slightly taken over that, you know, when the split occurred, if you will.
Oh, it wasn't taken over. It's hostile, but
Well, I mean,
anyways,
like whenever, you know, I mean, but no, I never went to Elements of the Close with him. It was still under the Everest
yeah.
label.
You had Brandy on there. You had, who else do you have?
It's Don and Brandy McDonald. They're Canadian. They
No,
have
I know.
something
So
called
first
the
time I
Informed
ever
Chiropractor.
so they spoke first year. Brandy did it at Chiro Sushi Summit. Dan Golden, who was one of the original partners with me and my dad when we were trying to bring back Parker, they were two of the people that Dan really struck a chord with. And I think Brandy is amazing, and Don I love, and I think those two are so in tuned. And I would double. I agree with you on that. And actually, when I was 19, I went to a Toronto Parker, and it was the first time I ever got wasted at a seminar, and it built me to who I was today. And the two people I was drinking next to or three people was Rick Wren, Don McDonald, Don and Brandy. You know,
Man, Rick Red, he is. That's
either
funny. I mean, I obviously know Rick. That's the
either
last
get it,
person I expected you
either
to
you get
say.
it or you don't. Either you get it or you don't.
He's a nice guy. I like Rick.
Dude, I love Rick. I think those guys, I don't think we have in the last 20 years done the right, we built up legends like Sigafus, and if we go back in time, those were the guys, Sigafus, Reggie, Sid, Jim Parker. And I look at those guys like Fred Schofield and Rick Wren, and Rick Wren would be a guy I would recommend for people to, like, if you want to learn how to build your shit with, and I'll say this, dude, I mean, I know people that, look, I'm going to say what I want to say, and I'm not bad, I know people have gone through, glow stuff and they kick ass with it. So you can't send me a fucking lawsuit now for what I said there, Brad. So if you're listening, which you because I didn't defame you, I'm also giving you praise. But you can feel free to send your MLM lawyer thing to me and
Don't be like that. Don't be like
That's who
that.
the fuck I am.
Changing.
Somewhere.
Change.
Okay, who is it? Here's the winner. He's local to me. Dr. N. Garaffi at 69,696. And Lily, who guessed my actual budget, who I love, Lily Simone, she's an animal chiropractor. She guessed 69,999. And my third closest is actually Dr. Dylan's wife, who quoted 51,234. But I'm going to send a bottle to Dr. Eamon if he's listening. Oh man. Okay. We went,
And what if he's not listening? What are you going to do then?
then no one gets anything and it doesn't matter. So, oh shit, dude, this is a good one today.
Yeah.
Anything else you got on your side of the plate?
Well, I was thinking earlier when we were talking about vacations,
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many people that when they vacation, they're always splitting their week because they feel like they have to see their patients before they leave and then after they come back. So people are going like Wednesday through, Tuesday of the next week or stuff like that. And I used to do that too, but then I got to thinking, when my patients go on vacation, they take a whole freaking week off.
Yeah.
And finally I was like, you know what? If they can take a whole week, so can I. it's not going to matter if you go Sunday through Saturday or anytime like that, because they're going to live. They're going to make, if they can make it a week without you on vacation, they can make it a week without you while you're on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of stressing out, trying to cram everybody into 2 or 3 days each week, just give yourself the liberty of actually taking a real vacation and taking those days, like take a whole week if you want to. I know so many doctors that will split their weeks, and it's just like, you don't need to. Your patients aren't going to go anywhere, and they're not going to suffer dramatically just because you chose to take a week off.
Mm-hmm.
Little food for thought.
I even go, I want to double down on that is, you see what my dad's doing, and he's in Mexico, and he comes back to New York, and his people are waiting for him for 3 months. You can design whatever the fuck you want to design and just not be afraid to do it. It's possible. I think that we really, I want to shout out Dr. Vera Gupta, who's also a Schofield girl, very intelligent. One, you guys should check her out because she does, I think, the best adjustment videos because she pairs it with tying everything she's doing and training. Why am I doing this with this, and what does it affect and impact? But she's also been doing research, much like similar to old Gonstead stuff, which is basically, we talked about this behind the scenes, I think. You can, I think and the research that she's getting and other people showed, like, the traditional care plan doesn't have to be the traditional care plan. Just like the traditional way you set up your patients' appointments don't need to be the same. They're seeing results of corrective plans with 15 visits spread out over 5 days. So 15 adjustments in 5 days is getting the same results like even better in some cases. So on that note, if you got wellness practice and you're keeping your people well, they shouldn't be being overly adjusted anyways, in that kind of sense, and don't get burnt out. Don't be a creeper. Don't steal people's shit and then try to sue them afterwards. And don't allow yourself to not have great vacations. And also have great pleasurable sex, nipples, and pull out the butt plug, people.
But not with your patients.
Not with your patient. Thanks for jamming, dudes. All right. Peace out. Bye.